They left me in the woods with a bell and a crust of bread. I was 7 years old, a sacrifice to the old gods of the hill to ensure the village's prosperity. The Bell Barrow's lot, they called it. I should have been eaten. I should have died of exposure. I didn't. The thing in the woods, the one they feared, didn't want a sacrifice. It wanted a student. It calls itself the pattern. For 25 years, it taught me. It showed me the geometry that bleeds at the edges of our world. The fractal branches of a tree are not random. They are a formula. The spiral of a shell is a mathematical prayer. Our village's prosperity was not a gift. It was a loan, a carefully calculated investment. And the ritual every 50 years was not a sacrifice. It was an interest payment, a soul to keep the balance. They stopped paying when they left me. They thought the debt was cleared. They were wrong. The interest has been compounding. I have returned now, not for revenge, to warn them. But as I walk down the familiar lane, I see the cracks. Literal, physical cracks in the air, shimmering with a non-light, humming with a sound that is the opposite of sound. The pattern is asserting itself. Reality is straining under the weight of the unpaid debt. People I've known since childhood look at me with blank eyes. Their movements are jerky, repetitive, like a corrupted video file. They are caught in a loop, a smaller pattern within the grand design. I went to the old stone circle where they left me. The central altar stone now glows with a faint, pulsating light. The symbols carved into it are moving, rearranging themselves into a final, terrible equation. I can read it. It's the sum total of every life in this village. The principal and the interest. The harvest is due. I thought I was the savior returned. I am not. The pattern did not let me go. It released me. I am the final variable. My return is the trigger, the catalyst that will begin the harvest. I can feel it pulling at me, the angles of my own bones aligning to its will. When the moon reaches its zenith tonight, the geometry will be perfect. The pattern will become the only reality. This village and everyone in it will be solved, absorbed, made part of the eternal calculation. There is no running. You cannot escape a formula. You can only be a number within it. Look at the world around you. The perfect lines of a spider's web. The terrifying symmetry of a snowflake. Do you think it's beautiful? It is. It's also a prison of perfect, logical, unfeeling design. Your life is a number in a ledger you cannot see. Your town, your city, it all exists on borrowed time, on a loan from something that does not care for you, only for the balance. So I ask you, as the final calculation completes itself inside my mind, what pattern does your life make? And what will you be worth when the final sum is taken? The debt is always called. The pattern always completes. Check your own prosperity. Look at the order of your life. And tell me you don't see the cracks starting to form. I found the app on a deep web forum, a place where rational thought goes to die. It was called Echo. The description was simple. Hear the dead. Real-time EVP translation. I'm a tech reviewer, a skeptic. I downloaded it as a joke, a bit of content for a spooky Halloween stream. I went to the old Victorian graveyard at midnight, phone in hand, laughing as I waved it around like a ghost-hunting idiot. Any spooks fancy a chat? I said, my voice echoing in the cold air. The app was silent. Nothing. I felt a flush of embarrassment, even though I was alone. I packed up, went home, and forgot about it. That's when it started. I was making a cup of tea, the kettle roaring, when a voice, clear and digital, spoke from my phone on the counter. "The door is open." I laughed, a nervous, shaky sound. Then I looked at my front door. The bolt I always slide across was pulled back. The door was slightly ajar. I couldn't uninstall Echo. The button was grayed out. I tried to turn my phone off. The screen stayed lit, a pale, ghostly blue. The voices started properly then. Not whispers, but clear, conversational tones. A woman sobbing, "He's under the house." A child giggling, "I can see you." They were giving me instructions. Look in the mirror. I did. My reflection smiled at me, a second too late. Say this word. It was a guttural, nonsense syllable that made my throat hurt. I said it. Every command I followed made the signal stronger. The voices became more present, more demanding. My phone is no longer my phone. It's a listening device. It's a viewing portal. It's a loudspeaker for things that should not speak. They are using my hardware, my microphone, my camera, my voice. Last night, the app changed. The audio stopped. Text scrolled across the screen, green on black. Physical manifestation requires anchor. You are the anchor. We are in the signal. Downloading now. My phone's camera light turned on, a blinding white eye. The speaker began to emit a low, droning hum that made my teeth vibrate. I threw it in a drawer and piled books on top. The hum seeped through the wood, through the pages, a vibration that is now in my bones. This isn't a ghost story. It's a technological exorcism in reverse. They aren't haunting a place. They are infesting a network. And my phone was the open door. The hum is getting louder. It's not coming from the drawer anymore. It's coming from inside my head. They're almost here. Your phone is on your desk, in your pocket, in your hand. Is the screen dark? Or is it just waiting? Is your battery draining for no reason? That's not a glitch. It's a consumption. They are always looking for more anchors, more doors. Uninstall it if you can. Check your apps. Check your data usage. Look for the one called Echo. But it might be too late. They might already be using your speaker. To listen. To speak. Can you hear it? The silence, just before it answers. You think you know what it means to forget? You don't. Forgetting is a gentle fade, a soft focus. This isn't forgetting. This is theft. It started with the small things. The name of my primary school teacher. The recipe for my grandmother's stew. I put it down to stress, to late nights, until I met Clara. Clara was my story. She was the first diagnosed case of blank slate syndrome, a condition where memories don't just fade. They are precisely surgically removed. She was terrified, her eyes darting around the room as she spoke. "Don't let it know you're interested," she whispered, her hand cold on mine. I thought she was paranoid. I filed the story. I went home, and that night I forgot my own birthday. The first image came the next morning. As I struggled to recall the date, a picture flashed behind my eyes, stark and vivid. A tall, impossibly thin figure, standing in the center of an endless, blindingly white room. It had no face, no features, just a silhouette of absolute blackness. It was perfectly still. I shook it off as a migraine, but then I forgot the lyrics to my favorite song, and the image returned. The figure was the same, but now it was closer, one step towards me in that white space. A pattern was emerging. A memory vanishes. The figure advances. I am the road it walks to reach this world. I went back to the hospital to see Clara. I needed answers. Her room was empty. Not vacant, empty, as if no one had ever lived there. The nurse on duty gave me a puzzled look when I said her name. No patient by that name has ever been here, love, she said, and her confusion was genuine. Clara had been erased. I ran to my car, my heart hammering. I tried to remember her face, the sound of her voice, but it was gone. And in its place, the image. The figure was closer still, so close I could see the texture of its darkness, a shifting, non-Euclidean geometry that hurt to look at. It wasn't in a room anymore. It was standing at a threshold. My own life is unspooling. I can't remember my father's laugh. I can't remember my first kiss. Each loss is a clean, painless amputation, followed by the spectral cancer of that advancing figure. My best friend from university called yesterday. He asked me why I'd been ignoring his messages. I didn't recognize his number. I don't even know what I've lost now. The gaps are too wide to see across. I looked in the mirror this morning, and for a second, my reflection was the featureless black silhouette. It was my turn to be the story. The final memory is coming. I can feel it, the last piece of me, my name. And when that goes, the door will open. The threshold will be crossed. So I'm writing this down. I'm carving my name into the world one last time. Look around you. What have you forgotten today? A word? A face? A dream? It's not gone. It's being collected. And every lost memory is a step it takes closer to you. Can you feel the empty space in your mind where something used to be? Look into it. Tell me, what do you see standing there?